for an excellent meeting of Monday, December 3rd of the Planning Board of the Village of Southampton be opened.
I second it.
Did you open the meeting yet?
We're opening the meeting. You want
No, I
to
didn't
press
hear you open it.
the mics? I'll speak. We're making a motion that it be open, Charlie. And Jane is seconded. In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. The first item, I'll do the items in order tonight, and on the last one, or maybe it isn't, it's on number 4 at the end of site plans. We'll put that at the very end, because I'm going to recuse myself on deliberation on 630 Hampton Road. So we'll start with 550 and 554 Hill Street. We have an applicant requesting an extension to the coming July. If anyone would like some discussion, I think one of the applicant's counsel's here, but we can move that it be extended to July, if it's all right with everybody.
Does it provide any, does the request provide any information as to the reason for the request?
No.
Yes, it's related to health department approval.
Kathy says it's for
The usual.
customary.
Yeah.
Well, the minutes should show to deal with the health department issues. If it's all right with everybody, the motion will show that we've agreed to mutually for an extension to July for that application.
The regular meeting of July 2019.
I think it's July, I don't know the date, but I think it's shortly after the 4th. I don't think we'll meet, maybe we'll meet before the 4th. The 4th is Thursday this year, isn't it?
I'm on the 5 days.
Just the regular meeting in July? That's fine.
The Monday, the first Monday in July. You got the
July
count?
8th.
8th is the... 8.
Okay.
Okay. July 8 is the date. Okay, seconded?
Seconded?
Seconded, those in favor?
Aye.
1, 2, 3, 4 ayes. 4 ayes. Okay. East End Holdings,
We already did that, didn't we? We did this last week.
yeah, we have, again, mutually, we'll entertain a motion that it too be
No, you've already done that. You don't need to do it again. That's already been done.
Did it at the planning
Just
board?
note, yeah, just, you can move on.
Okay, then it's noted that that was done at the
Correct.
planning meeting.
Similarly.
Okay.
Work session.
Kathy, we've got the tennis court.
Same thing, this was adjourned until January 7th. They do have a copy of the memo, and they're working on a response.
Thank you. Okay, with that in mind, the motion that this also be adjourned till January 7th?
Yeah, it was done. It's been done.
The ones that say adjourned, we've
God,
already
it's
done.
already been adjourned, thank you.
You miss a day, I mean, you're out.
I'm happy to do it every time if I have to, let me tell you.
You pretty much can skip the first page.
Okay. Same with Beechwood, that's adjourned, okay, it says with a D. Danielson's been adjourned and McDonald's been adjourned. Fabulous. That's much more active work session than... No, well, that's wonderful. Okay, number 6, we'll skip 4 for a minute. Pelletreau Street.
In your file is a resolution approving the site plan as amended. An affirmative vote on the resolution will be to approve the site plan for,
Let's find it in our file. Give us a second, Bob.
yeah, for landscaping of a flag lot.
I'm looking for the motion.
You
Okay.
have a copy there, Alan?
There's application. This is Mr. Joseph Shara Pelletreau. Okay, this is an application. Okay. Thank you both for the resolution. Is there, I don't believe we need to call other than spelling my name right someday.
Yes,
That's all right.
doesn't
It's
check the
interchangeable.
caps, yeah.
It's interchangeable.
Sorry.
Is any need for any discussion? Members of the board, anyone have any problem? This is the issue with, we got, I think, a letter or something from the building commissioner that's about parking, and it's...
Building
the
inspector.
Issues have been resolved by the building inspector.
That's noted in the file.
This was satisfactory, right?
That's noted in the decision.
Okay.
Yes, we reviewed the revised plans, yep.
All right, we'll entertain a motion that we,
I make a motion to approve the decision for 126 Pelletreau Street.
I second it.
second. Pam? Yes? Aye. Okay, we have ayes. Thank you. You have the one that you can fill it out, Pam?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now we have 116 North Sea.
Did we miss 630 Hampton Road, BRL?
I'm going to step out. I've got to
Okay.
recuse myself.
Got it.
You want to run that final item? So
Okay.
go out to the back room. Okay, number 6, 116 North Sea Road, okay. We are still reviewing the site plan, and I think the issue in front of Kathy, we are at the point where we, before us, I believe, is to schedule a public hearing on the
That's
matter.
correct.
Anyone wish to speak on the matter from the audience?
Just hope you do as we just announced. That'd be great. That's what we're here for.
Okay. Then I have one question, Council. The law says that, you were saying, I think Bo agreed with us, that people have a right to street access in the village code.
Under the code, correct, to both streets.
And it reads to both streets. In other words,
Well, on a corner
I
lot
live on a
specifically
corner,
says,
I could
correct.
have 2 driveways every
Correct.
time.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. I just didn't know what the history of the village had been, whether you have to pick one or anything like that.
No.
Fine. Okay. So we'll entertain a motion that we schedule a public hearing, which would be
January 7th.
January 7th.
I make a motion to schedule a public hearing for the Hamptons HDA LLC application at the next regularly scheduled meeting on January 7th, 2019.
19.
I'll second that.
It's been seconded. In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
You need to call, Alan, call the roll. Mrs. Gilmartin, Mr.
Okay,
Stevens.
it's been approved by Mrs. Gilmore.
No, just have her confirm her vote so that it can be recorded correctly.
Yes, aye, whatever.
Mr. Stevenson.
Aye.
Mr. Epley.
Aye.
Ms. Claire.
Aye.
Aye. Yeah, everyone said it, but we have to pick it up.
You need to pick it up on the record.
Oh, no,
Yeah, I understand
I
you're
know it
saying
needs
it,
to
but
be
you need to
written down.
identify the vote. The vote.
everyone independently said aye, but
I understand that,
we've
but
got a wonderful substitute today, but she,
it
we'll pick up
it needs to
everyone,
be
right,
on the
ma'am?
tape. It needs to be on the tape.
We're picking one up, okay. Thank you. Okay, for BRL Hampton Road, Inc., I need to recuse myself because of what I still believe is a conflict. Boy, you can handle this matter for a minute
I will.
and beat on the door. Thank you.
Pam, would you check the file to see if there's a letter requesting adjournment? Thank you.
Aye.
Good night, thank you.
On DRL?
Yes.
149. But what is resolution of incompletion? What does that mean?
Well, we are in a situation here where the applicant came in with a pre-submission conference as reflected in the resolution. You had a hearing or meeting on that on September 4th, at which time the applicant received authorization to move forward to the final submission, which they submitted on October 9th. There is a $14,000 and some change application fee that has not been paid. There's been $800 paid toward it, but the balance of the fee has not been paid. There are also variances necessary based upon the documents that have been submitted that the applicant will have to obtain in order to come back to the planning board for a final determination. Those have not been obtained. There are also numerous identifications in a memo of November 5 from Nelson Pope and Voorhees regarding the incompletion or omissions on the plans themselves. So you have 3 general aspects of this, none of which have been completed or moving forward with. And so tonight, by the notice, the resolution of incompletion, the board is acknowledging officially that the application is incomplete, as opposed to having no resolution and leaving this in sort of a undocumented state. So we're documenting the reasons why the application is incomplete. The building inspector, I am told, has made numerous efforts to collect the application fee. If that's not paid by the next planning board meeting, you can look forward to possibly dealing with a resolution to dismiss the application for failure to pay the fee.
So the applicant's course of action would be to
Pay the fee,
pay the fee.
and then proceed with the variance and, at the same time, the completion of the plans as outlined by Nelson Pope and Voorhees.
And in lieu of doing that,
It remains incomplete.
okay,
There's no letter asking for an adjournment.
Oh, you know what? There's nothing on your desks?
it wouldn't be in my file, it might be in,
The reason I question that is because Jackie had told me earlier in the day that there had been a letter submitted, but that it was incorrect, and she was waiting for another letter to
I
be
believe
submitted.
this is it.
I don't have one.
Farrell Fritz, they're the,
Yeah, okay.
they're the representative, but
Right.
this is Beechwood Latch. No, that's not
Nothing
it.
on this.
And there's nothing in the file. I mean,
Yeah, well, I had the file with me in the office, so they would not have put it in there. I've had that with me
but
since...
there's nothing in our package.
Yeah,
All
no,
right, well, based upon some effort to submit a letter requesting adjournment, I would recommend that the board, of its own, based upon the incomplete efforts of the request for adjournment, to adjourn it to January 7. That way, you can then vote on the resolution of incompletion, and that just moves everything forward to January 7, which is not an unreasonable time. So I propose that a resolution to, on behalf of the applicant and at the request of the applicant, to adjourn the matter for all purposes to January 7, 2019. So you want to call for a vote on that, Roy?
I will. So do I have a second on that motion?
I second it.
Ms. Gilmartin?
I second it.
Your vote?
I vote.
Jane?
I vote yes.
Zach?
Yep.
I vote yes.
Now a resolution to approve the resolution of incompletion.
I thought we were going to not do that until...
No, we're going to do that now.
Okay.
So he's got a month now to pay the
Do I have a
fee
second
and move forward.
on the motion to approve the resolution of incompletion?
I'll second the motion.
Jane?
Yeah, aye.
Zach?
Aye.
Ellen?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right.
You can call Alan back, yeah.
Ellen, may return.
That was the shortest meeting ever.
Is that this secret knock?
That's it.
So we have completed the business on the agenda except for the minute approval.
Thank you. I'm probably remiss having missed that planning meeting. I don't remember reviewing them. They're probably, it's pretty simple stuff. I'd just like to go over them before we approve them and delay it till the next meeting.
The minutes,
I don't think I've seen them until tonight.
October 29th?
Yeah, they've been,
Did I get if I got a crack at 29th, I lose track of the dates. If I went through it to edit it, it's fine. I can vote to approve it.
That one you definitely did.
Okay,
I don't know that.
you're my taster.
Yeah.
You're keeping
I
track.
don't know about November 5th.
Yeah, I think I may have seen an email on that when I was out of town. And I still have to get to it. It's below two churches and Social Security Administration. I'm in a real mess.
So you want to adjourn a vote then on what, both of them, or just
No,
November 5?
If Kathy knows, we're trying to do a circle when I go through, and I try to edit them to get
All right.
English and the Lord's grammar in. So hopefully, if we did the first one, that's fine. You see them too after
Yes,
me.
yes.
And then everybody else should get them. Okay, then I'll entertain a motion that the minutes, which I have here for
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the minutes as written of October 29th.
29th. I'll
Second it?
Second it. Okay. Pam?
Aye.
Roy?
Aye.
Zach?
Aye.
Jane? Aye. Okay, they're approved. The others I promise I will get to shortly. And
So I think you may have somebody in the audience that wishes to address the board. Sir?
I thought I was here to,
Could you step up to the podium and address the board and give us your name and address?
yes, of course. My name is Dion, D-I-O-N, Delta I-O-N, Lowry, L-O-W-E-R-Y.
yes, sir.
I'm a resident of Southampton.
Nice to have you here.
Yeah, I've been here before.
What can we do for you?
Well, I thought I was here about the courtyard issue.
That application was adjourned at the request of the applicant until January 7th.
Meaning,
They want to wait and resubmit matters to us, we believe, that are important to considering what,
They may be changing the plan, they're doing something, and we don't know what they're doing until they come back to us.
okay. I was just surprised when I was walking down the street and the fountain was gone. And then shortly after that, I saw pictures of further demolition. And you said,
yeah.
I'm sorry,
I'm Alan McFarland, yeah. What did I,
Mr. McFarland, that there was going to be discussion prior to any action.
yeah. Yeah, that's what, our plan is to,
But
public
there's
hearing.
extraordinary action.
okay.
And
Well, if it's something that we
Mr.
need to
McFarland
do, I'm
meant
sure we'll get
action, but-
involved, but it's not involve us, it's people who own that property, presumably you're doing something, and we'll all find out.
I think Mr. McFarland meant action over which the board, this is the planning board, has jurisdiction. The owner has rights to the property regarding certain aspects of it which wouldn't be within the jurisdiction of the planning board.
Yeah, we get an application that we have to review according to standards that are passed,
Okay.
that we have to follow, so we intend to do that.
The fountain is his personal property, on his personal piece of property. He's not building it, he's, I guess, taking it down.
you can understand my surprise at walking by a demolition site after attending many packed meetings here where people were assured that there would be discussion about the fate of that courtyard.
Well, as far as the application in front of the planning board, that's correct. But as I just said, a property owner has rights to their property other than within the jurisdiction of the planning board. The planning board is not an enforcement board.
I'm not here to,
No, just, okay, I understand your concern, but what you do with your property wherever you live is your business unless you do something that's illegal.
You have to get approval to build new stuff, but you don't have to get approval to remove a fountain on your property. If you wanted to take down something that was in your yard and you did it and everybody came and said, sorry, you can't do that, too bad, I mean, I don't think you'd be too happy about it. And people have personal property rights. So it's just not in the jurisdiction of this board to tell the property owner what he cannot do with that fountain. We can tell him if he wants to build new buildings and take those down, he has to get approval for it. That is what we do. But unfortunately, we don't have the power as this board to regulate what he does with his fountain.
all right? I'm not going to change anything
No,
tonight.
well, we can't even volunteer if we wanted to. We can't volunteer, but you're nice to come. Thank you for telling us about your concern. We are too. I drove by it. It seemed to me when I went to church, there was a white fence.
I don't understand that reference, but.
There's a white fence in front of the courtyard. When I drove up Job's Lane to go to church, there was a white fence, so something was happening there. I didn't get out and look at it.
He can't tear down those buildings and put up a new building without permission. But, like, you could take down if you had
He tore down the buildings.
a building, a whole building,
He tore down the, you know what I'm
the
talking
fountain.
about.
The fountain, it's like a barbecue pit. You wanted to take down your barbecue pit, you could, if you had a brick barbecue pit, and we wouldn't say anything about it. The fountain is the same thing.
If you believe he's doing demolition beyond what he should, it's going to take with the building department with demolition, but, you know, our job is to review new buildings going on and stuff going on, but can't tell him what to do.
I don't know what my words mean or how they're being recorded. And I hope they're being recorded.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think they are. Yes, sir.
But I believe a number of people, like a lot, have been misled.
I actually think they might have been misled also by the press referring to it as a mall going in. So I don't think that was misrepresented necessarily from the board here, but the Southampton Press had an article about a mall going in that space.
I love the Southampton Press. I'm from a journalistic background. My cap, which I should be wearing, says Associated Press. There were a number of articles that were placed in the Southampton Press. One of them mentioned a mall. It was wrong word. Wrong word. There were other right words used. And a number of people who packed this house used right words about the preservation of Southampton Village. Community. You, at one of the meetings I attended, said, how many people have visited that mall in the last year?
Sir, excuse me, if you're making a presentation, I suggest that it's not appropriate because the applicant is not here. If you want to tell us why you're here, we thank you for that, but the board is not here to hear testimony on your position with regard to the application.
Okay, well, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Welcome, you're welcome. We appreciate your time.
And,
Thank you.
so I guess
Thank you.
I'll adjourn. What's the next step?
We're waiting for January 7th to determine what the applicant is going to do.
Okay, thanks.
The people doing it has to be before us on January 7th, and so we'll hear the applicants.
So January 7th, there will be people,
That's what they say. I guess they could
Unless
change
it's
it on
adjourned
the
before that
schedule to
time.
come.
Unfortunately, there's no work session
Yeah,
between
that's right,
now
yeah.
and January 7th, so the next time an action can occur will be on January 7th. But if the applicant needs additional time to do whatever design work that they're doing, they may request that it be adjourned again.
all right, I just heard that something could happen prior to that.
Not as official action from this board.
Not in front of us.
Because the next meeting isn't until
Well,
January 7th.
The owner of the property.
Apparently this, I'm sorry to say this, but the buck keeps getting chucked to the left.
We have to.
That's
we
not
have to-
true. That we have a building code and we have a zoning code that spells all this out. This board is an administrative board. It's not a board of enforcement. Mr. Epley was correct in saying if you have a problem with what's being done on the site, please check tomorrow with the building department and see what their position is, because the building inspector is the one who enforces the building code.
Nothing's been approved there, but they can do
By
site
this
work.
board.
by this
Nothing's been
board.
approved by this
But
board
if-
under this board's jurisdiction.
If there's something with demolition that you feel is inappropriate, you contact the building inspector, and they can take a look at that and
All right.
go down there.
And that's not passing the buck. That is directing you to the appropriate authority who has control over the action.
For some reason, I was misinformed about this meeting, and I'm sorry to take your time. I came here with two questions. One is, what's the name and the position of the person who approved the demolition of the site?
Sir, we're not here. Sir, let me finish.
No one can answer that.
It's not the jurisdiction of this board to answer questions. The board is here to hear statements and testimony from applicants or objectants.
The building department is where you need to get your answers.
Yeah, we have no idea.
I'm sorry for that. It's Mohs surgery. It's supposed to be protective.
Yeah. No, don't worry.
The building department will have your answers.
If there are answers, they will.
All right. Who do I ask?
You go to the second floor in Village Hall to the building department. And,
Now?
No, tomorrow during regular business hours, and you can ask about the demolition over there and that you feel it might be inappropriate or not, and they'll be able to direct
They'll be
you
able to tell me.
whether there was a demolition permit filed or so-and-so, whatever was filed, and whether they have the right to do what they're doing to their property. That's not something this board can determine.
All right. The second reason, or the second thing I was going to ask is, what can I do to halt?
Sir, this board is not, it does not have the power to instruct you on something like that.
What do you mean you don't? I'm asking.
We do not have the
I'm a human being
jurisdiction.
just-
Sir, I'm telling you, we do not have the jurisdiction to respond to that question.
Our board is
Yeah,
not
you
involved.
can at least refer me.
No, sir, we cannot. We're not here to answer questions. We're here to receive testimony and make decisions on applications.
Other than going to the building department, okay,
You can get all the information you need from the building department.
if the enforcement of the village's building laws and restrictions is done by the building department. And so if you've got an issue that involves that, it's going and stopping, whatever it is, they're the pretty people to take it up with. They have the power to deal with it, and maybe you'll give them information they want, maybe they know all about it, but they're the people to go to. They come to us in certain occasions when something is about to be done that needs to be approved under the provisions of the village code that apply to approval of new construction in the village business district. That's what we're going to do. We're planning now that the guy who wants to do something, I think it's a man, I believe it's still a man, who owns the property, has asked us to do something now, next, on the meeting, which you were just told, on January 7th. So that's the next time it'll come before us, and we'll listen to what he wants to do. And there'll probably be people interested in hearing it. And if you want to come and speak, come on in. People, we'll try to get people a turn if they want to.
What did I misunderstand when you said to a three-meeting packed crowd that this was going to be reviewed?
The sentence, this is a building application. And when it's before us, we're certainly going to review it. Right now, it's not
Like,
before
that's
us.
not,
That's what I meant. The sentence says we will do it when it's before us. And that's what'll happen. When it comes back to us, we're going to do it. That's what the sentence says. That's what I said. If it's confused you, I apologize, but when it comes back before us, we
The
will.
application is for the destruction of the existing buildings and the construction of new buildings. That's the application. It has nothing to do with the fountain in the presence, in the middle of the courtyard. Whether or not the applicant has the right to remove the fountain is building code that is handled by the building department, which is why we are referring you to the building department, because the removal of the fountain is a building code issue handled by the building department. So if he didn't have the right to do that, the building department will listen to your complaint and go make him replace it if he didn't have the right to do it. If he did have the right to do it, your only course of action would be to change the building code, which I don't think you would need to get a lot of people to vote to get the trustees to change the building code.
In time.
If he had the right to remove the fountain according to the building code. But we as the board don't deal with that. That is the building department, which is why we are referring to. We deal with the construction of new buildings, which is not happening as of yet, and we have not, that application is before us.
all right.
A lot of people have been here talking about the fountain. We weren't.
I mean, we weren't.
Well,
Our board.
Alan,
Not our
let's
board.
close the meeting.
Okay.
All right. I appreciate your patience.
Okay. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very
Nice
much.
to hear you.
Thanks.
Respectful.
Okay. Any other matters that you or Kathy would like to bring up? Things are,
Hope you all have a happy new year. I'm not going to see you until January 7th.
have a
Yes.
great December, and
Yeah,
I
you too.
hope you have a great December and
Yeah.
regular
your
endless
husband
beats.
continues to do better.
Okay, I understand the motion of the meeting be adjourned.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
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 Yeah. All vote, we've got to vote on our own motions. Okay, the meeting's adjourned. Thank you, ma'am.